The high degree of emotionality on the trading floor was a problem for the traders. Because as I learned, and this is related to what I said before about my job was to help preserve their capacity to think, they had to be able to change their ideas rapidly as they saw that the market was not going in the direction they thought it was going to go, so they go the other way. So they really basically had to realize they were wrong, turn around on a dime, and start trading in the other direction. But the competitive posturing on the floor often made it difficult for the traders to admit their errors of judgment, because they were having to admit that in front of other people. And there was a culture that to some degree supported it, but there was a lot of kind of boasting and a lot of aggrandizing behavior that was that I think ended up trapping them. Many of them became stubborn, competitive with others, and since they were sort of showing off, and in that climate they couldn't so easily change direction. A key problem was that they had entrenched habits of thinking. Whatever made it difficult for them to change their minds in response to changes in the market, which is probably, as I said, having to do with the relationships among each other. But another related problem, in a sense, is if they ever needed to make money, if they were feeling under pressure about making money, if they had a big bill due from the IRS for taxes, back taxes last year, and they wanted to make like, $200,000 by the end of the month, inevitably, that's when they started losing. Because again, that interfered with their ability to respond to the market. If they were like wanting the market to make profits for them, to go the way they were predicting it was going to go, because they needed the money, or they didn't maybe even need it, but they were like counting on the money, or they wanted the money. They weren't really, again, free to see that the market wasn't going the way they had wanted, that they weren't going to be able to make that money this week, that they were going to have to give that up and adjust, and many of them found themselves not really quite unable to do that. Another problem many of them had is they'd feel they were losing control. They had a strategy for trading that used to work, and then it wasn't working. And so sometimes, in a kind of a stubborn way, and stubbornness was actually a big problem in this group, they just keep on trading with the same sort of set ideas. It's going to turn around, It's got to go up. And that way, they could literally lose millions of dollars by being stubborn, because large sums of money were involved, and the market moved so quickly. So if they weren't able to admit that they were wrong, they could really dig themselves a huge pit, a huge hole. Sometimes the traders, they had a slogan among themselves to help remind themselves about this danger. They'd say, "It's not the money, it's the trade." And by that they meant you have to keep your mind on this individual trade, the specific opportunity to pull off this trade. If you're thinking about the money, you're going to get into trouble, because there's no guarantee about the money. It's your nimbleness, it's your flexibility in trading. You have to keep your eye on the market. Don't think so much about the profit. On the other hand, there was another slogan they had that they frequently resorted to, and this is how they help each other. They would try to give this sort of homespun advice about trader to trader. It's all about the money. And I think that was sometimes because the excitement of trading was sort of like gambling. And they kind of get carried away with the gambling aspect of it, the game of it, and caught up in the heady atmosphere of gambling, they'd forget that it was really it was all about the money. I mean, basically, the money they made was what lent stability to their lives. It paid the rent, it paid the children's tuition bills, their alimony, because many of them were divorced. So it could seem all too easily like an exciting game, a recreation, not really a job, not a serious way to kind of support oneself. So they had these various slogans which were designed to kind of like help pull themselves back from these places that they would get into, which impaired their ability to be more flexible.